Most people believe heart attacks are loud, dramatic, impossible to miss. A crushing pain in the chest, a sudden collapse, someone grabbing their arm and falling to the ground. That's what movies show. That's what most people expect. But the truth, especially after the age of 60, is far more unsettling. The most dangerous heart attacks are the quiet ones. The ones that don't wake you up. The ones that don't give you time to react. The ones that happen while the house is silent. The lights are off. And everyone assumes you're safe because you're asleep. And here's the part that stops people when I say it face to face in a recovery room. Those events are rarely random. They are not sudden acts of bad luck. They are the result of patterns, small, ordinary habits repeated night after night, habits that feel harmless, even routine, but quietly place your heart under stress at the exact time it is most vulnerable. So before you go to bed tonight, I want you to ask yourself one simple but uncomfortable question. What am I doing every evening that my heart is paying for while I sleep? My name is Dr. Kevin Adewale, and I've spent more than 20 years as a cardiac surgeon. I've opened chests, repaired arteries, and quite literally held human hearts in my hands. I've also spent those same years watching patterns repeat themselves in patients who never saw it coming. People who had normal checkups, who felt fine, who went to bed like any other night and woke up in an ambulance or didn't wake up at all. And what stays with me is not just the emergencies. It's the realization that in many of those cases, the warning signs were there, not in the form of pain or symptoms, but in the form of habits. Quiet, predictable, everyday habits that no one had ever explained to them in the context of heart health. Tonight, I'm going to show you 5 of those habits. Not complicated medical theories, not rare conditions, just 5 things that millions of people over 60 do every single evening without realizing what they're setting in motion. And more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to change them in a way that is simple, realistic, and sustainable. There's something most people never think about when it comes to their heart. It doesn't shut down when you go to sleep. It doesn't rest in the way you imagine. It shifts into a different mode. In a healthy body, nighttime is when your cardiovascular system resets. Blood pressure naturally drops by about 10 to 20%. Heart rate slows. Blood vessels relax. It's a built-in recovery period, something your body has been doing automatically for decades. But as you age, that system becomes less reliable. Blood vessels stiffen. Hormonal signals weaken. The precise regulation that used to protect you at night starts to lose its accuracy, and the margin for error becomes smaller than most people realize. During the day, your body has backup systems. If something goes wrong, it compensates. At night, many of those systems are scaled down. It's like running a complex operation with a skeleton crew. And that's exactly why the hours between midnight and early morning carry the highest risk for heart attacks and strokes in people over 60. Now here's the part that changes everything. What happens during those hours is not random. It is directly influenced by what you did before you went to bed. The food you ate, the medications you took or didn't take, the way you slept, the environment around you. All of it feeds into what your cardiovascular system experiences while you're unconscious. And the first habit I want to talk about is one that almost everyone recognizes immediately once they hear it: late heavy dinners. Let me ask you something. What time did you eat last night? And what did that meal look like? For a surprising number of people, especially after retirement when schedules shift, dinner moves later into the evening. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, sometimes even later. And it's not a light meal. It's often the largest meal of the day. Rice, bread, meat, fried foods, desserts, all followed by sitting down, maybe watching television, and then going to bed within a couple of hours. From a lifestyle perspective, this feels normal. From a cardiovascular perspective, it creates a problem that most people never see. When you eat a large meal, your body shifts resources toward digestion. Blood flow increases to the digestive system. Your heart has to pump harder. Blood pressure rises. Levels of fats in your bloodstream spike for several hours after eating. Now combine that with going to sleep. Your body is trying to transition into a low-demand recovery state, but instead, it's dealing with a high-demand metabolic process. Those two systems are working against each other. And in a younger body, that conflict is usually manageable. In an older body, with less flexible blood vessels and existing plaque, it becomes a risk factor. Studies have shown that eating close to bedtime is associated with higher nighttime blood pressure and increased cardiovascular strain. The solution is not complicated. It's simply a matter of timing. Finishing your main meal earlier in the evening gives your body time to process it before sleep. It allows your heart to enter the night in a calmer, more stable state. The second habit is something far more serious because it involves medication, specifically blood pressure medication. A large percentage of people over 60 take medication to control hypertension. But what many don't realize is that the timing of that medication can be just as important as taking it at all. Blood pressure is not constant throughout the day. It follows a rhythm. It rises in the morning, peaks in the afternoon, and ideally drops at night. But in many older adults, that drop doesn't happen. Instead, blood pressure stays elevated or even increases during the night. This condition, known as nocturnal hypertension, is particularly dangerous because it places stress on the arteries at a time when they are less prepared to handle it. If medication is taken only in the morning, its effect may wear off by nighttime, leaving the body unprotected during those critical hours. This is why the conversation about medication timing is so important. It's not something to adjust on your own, but it is something to discuss with your doctor. Because in cardiology, timing is not a detail. It can be the difference between protection and vulnerability. The third habit is one that many people dismiss entirely because it seems unrelated to the heart: snoring. For years, snoring has been treated as a nuisance, something to joke about or ignore. But in many cases, it is a sign of a condition called sleep apnea. And sleep apnea is one of the most underdiagnosed risk factors for heart disease in older adults. During sleep apnea episodes, breathing stops repeatedly throughout the night. Oxygen levels drop. The brain triggers a stress response. Heart rate increases. Blood pressure spikes. This can happen dozens of times in a single night. Over time, it places enormous strain on the cardiovascular system. It increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and irregular heart rhythms. And the most concerning part is that many people don't even know it's happening. They simply wake up feeling tired, assuming it's a normal part of aging. Recognizing this pattern and getting it evaluated can make a significant difference in long-term heart health. The fourth habit is something that seems logical but has unintended consequences: limiting fluid intake in the evening. Many people reduce how much they drink at night to avoid waking up to use the bathroom. While the intention is understandable, going to bed dehydrated can increase cardiovascular risk. When the body lacks sufficient fluid, the blood becomes thicker. It flows less easily through the vessels. Combined with slower circulation during sleep, this creates an environment where clots are more likely to form. In arteries that are already narrowed, this can become a serious issue. Maintaining proper hydration, even in the evening, helps keep blood flow smooth and reduces this risk. The fifth habit is one that almost no one associates with heart health: room temperature. The environment you sleep in has a direct impact on your cardiovascular system. If the room is too warm, your body works to cool itself, increasing heart rate and causing fluid loss through sweating. If it's too cold, blood vessels constrict, raising blood pressure. Both scenarios place unnecessary strain on the heart. Maintaining a comfortable, moderate temperature allows the body to remain stable throughout the night, supporting better sleep and cardiovascular recovery. When you look at these 5 habits together, something important becomes clear. None of them are extreme. None of them require drastic changes. They are small adjustments, but they have a cumulative effect. They shape what your heart experiences during the most vulnerable hours of the day, and that's what makes them so powerful, because they are within your control. After all these years, after seeing countless patients and outcomes, there is one thing I know with certainty. The difference between risk and protection is often not found in a hospital. It's found in the decisions you make every single day, especially the ones you make before you go to sleep. Because while you are resting, your body is still working, your heart is still beating, and the conditions you create for it determine how well it can continue to do that job. So tonight, before you turn off the light, think about those 5 habits. Think about what you ate, what you drank, how you're sleeping, and what your environment looks like. Because the most powerful changes are not the ones that feel dramatic. They are the ones you repeat consistently. And your heart, more than anything else, responds to consistency. At the end of the day, this is not about fear. It's about awareness. Because once you understand what's happening, you have the ability to change it. And that change doesn't require perfection. It requires attention. It requires small decisions made with intention, and those decisions, repeated over time, can shape outcomes in ways most people never imagine.